I'm your host Slim bin Mohammad Rafi, and here is my YouTube channel, Zamir Universal. Still no hope for ceasefire, and the evil seems to be prevailing and coming to the end game, which is to expel every living being from Gaza Strip, vacate it for Jared Kushner, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, and then clean up the whole West Bank, annex it, and then have all to himself. This is the dream which this evil rabid dog named Netanyahu has, and he is been able to get this done because he has dirty tapes of Jeffrey Epstein with him and blackmails Donald Trump to release them if he will not do whatever he tells them to do. So, in his first term, you all know that Donald Trump, like a mad animal, he just moved the embassy of the United States to Jerusalem, the capital city of Palestinian, and nobody ever dared, none of the presidents, no a leader in the world had the courage to do this. But this mad dog did it. Why he was elected for the second time, you can imagine. He was elected. First they tried to assassinate him, and then when they failed in that assassination during his election campaign, then they poured $100 million to him and showed him the naked videos of child molestation which were made by Mossad and supervised personally by Netanyahu. Now he is holding him from his neck, and the whole world is wondering why this mad man, who's called a mad king, is doing as he is like a puppy dog and wigs his tail, so does whatever Netanyahu tells him. So the war criminal is running United States of America. The people are living in a fool's paradise who are attacking just like Iran did on Tel Aviv or on Palestine. This is a small tiny piece of land where illegally occupied by these immigrants, leftovers of Hitler. In fact, they have to fight America and defeat, and if they want to defeat, he will die his own death once the America is finished. And funnily enough, the two countries who claim that they can confront this, Russia and China, they are both dishonest and cowards, and they don't want to really come and openly confront the United States. They know it, the evil. They know from its tariff trade. Europe knows from the tariff trade. You know, the Japanese know from the tariff trade. Indians know about it. Canadians know about it. Denmark knows about it because he wants to buy the Greenland. So in same way, he wants to buy Gaza Strip as the whole world belongs to him. So if the world wants to live in peace, they have to take care of the United States of America. I will say the same words about the North Korean. What good are your nukes? What good are nukes of you, Mr. Putin, and your chairman Chinese? Why the hell are you not with your laser and all this pomp and show you have shown on your military parade? Why are you not getting rid of this evil first? You don't have to have new currency. You don't have to have BRICS. You don't have to have a parallel system. Just get rid of United States of America. Israel will be dead. They can both be buried in the same grave. And Muslim OIC or any other countries, if you think that any one of them can do it, There's one mad country who can do it, but you know that the mad country is being run at the moment by somebody who introduced and stole the elections, and they put him in jail, and that is, a cricketer who won elections, and I think he held the office of a prime minister for a few years and then was humiliated and disgracefully removed by Joe Biden, by CIA, by Pentagon, by the ex-chief army staff, Ahmadi, Qamar Javed Bajwa. And the evil in Pakistan is the Nawaz Sharif, and who can sell, been told by the people, by the Americans themselves, that this is one such an evil country. For them, they can sell their mother for the sake of dollars. And that is the Sharif family, that is the Bhutto or Zardari family, and that is the biggest family is the Pakistan army. So when you know that there are three people, who hold the reins of this country, who can actually defeat both America and Israel together, is this mad Pakistan. But since they've been cheating America, they've been getting dollars from America, still they are, going and touching their feet to get the extensions. So just like the mad king in the United States of America, Donald Trump, they have their dirty videos, and they have all the corruption and all that money they have taken and they've stolen from Pakistan, and actually like vampires sucked every drop of blood. They know it. When the Americans know it, the Europeans know it, so they depend 100% on them. So they cannot, they have to also wig their tail like a puppy dog and do whatever Trump tells them, and indirectly, this is achieved by Netanyahu, the war king and war criminal, and you can understand.
If Israel wants to assassinate the political leadership of Hamas, then why is it negotiating with them? And if it wants to negotiate for the release of the hostages, then why does it kill everyone who could conduct negotiations with it? And how are we supposed to receive Israeli delegations for negotiations in our country when those who sent these delegations are planning to bomb this country? These questions are not waiting for an answer. Rather, they clarify why we say loud and clear that this aggression is, in fact, a blatant, treacherous, and cowardly act, and it is impossible to deal with such a degree of cunning and betrayal. The Israeli government believes that it is presenting the Arabs with fate's accomplice, ready-made situations every time, then follows them with new fate's accomplice, so they forget the previous ones and negotiate over the new ones. The third fact that this treacherous assault on our sovereignty reveals is that the Israeli Prime Minister, who boasts of having changed the face of the Middle East in the past 2 years, actually means that Israel can intervene wherever and whenever it wants. He dreams that the Arab region will become an Israeli sphere of influence, and this is a dangerous delusion. Anyone who persistently and systematically works to hostages, then he does not want them. What he truly wants is to make Gaza uninhabitable for humans, paving the way for the displacement of
But it's Kuwait that's making the most dramatic moves, and this is where things get really serious. Kuwait prohibits the entry of Israeli products. There is a ban on entry for people with Israeli passports, and even those whose passports have been stamped in Israel are not allowed to enter the country. This isn't new, but what is new is how Kuwait is doubling down on these restrictions at a time when other Gulf states have been moving toward normalization. Think about what this means practically. We're talking about a complete economic and travel embargo. No Israeli citizens, no Israeli goods, no one who has even visited Israel. It's one of the most comprehensive boycotts implemented by any nation against Israel, and it's being enforced by a country that sits on some of the world's largest oil reserves. But here's what makes this particularly significant right now. Kuwait's recent decision to allow all nationalities to enter its territory while excluding Israeli nationals, has received wide praise and positive reactions. This isn't just maintaining the status quo. This is actively reinforcing and publicizing their stance at a moment when the geopolitical landscape is shifting rapidly. Now let's talk about the broader context that makes these actions so important. Recent events have created a perfect storm of regional tensions. Gulf states like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the UAE could utilize their vast sovereign wealth funds to impose trade limitations on Israel. We're not just talking about symbolic gestures here. These are countries with trillions of dollars in sovereign wealth funds. When they start talking about economic pressure, that's the kind of pressure that can move markets and change policies. The timing of all this is crucial. Just days ago, there was an Israeli attack in Doha that has unified Gulf states in a way we haven't seen in years. Qatar seeks a collective response to Israel, which has attacked several other countries as it pummels Gaza. This attack has essentially handed the Gulf states a reason to coordinate their response in ways that go far beyond typical diplomatic protests. What we're seeing is the emergence of a coordinated Gulf strategy that combines economic pressure, diplomatic isolation, and strategic positioning. Considering both Saudi Arabia and Kuwait have been investing heavily in technological development and diversification away from oil dependency. Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 program and Kuwait's similar diversification efforts create opportunities for technological cooperation or competition that could be leveraged politically. If these countries begin systematically excluding Israeli technology or companies, the effects could be significant for Israel's tech sector. But perhaps most importantly, these actions represent a fundamental shift in how Gulf states view their role in regional politics. For they're positioning themselves as leaders of Arab and Islamic resistance to Israeli policies. This dual approach gives them maximum flexibility and leverage in negotiations. But let's get real about what this means economically. Saudi Arabia and Kuwait together control massive portions of global energy markets. Saudi Arabia alone produces about 10 million barrels of oil per day. Kuwait produces around 3 million barrels daily. When countries with this kind of economic influence start coordinating their policies against a specific nation, the implications go far beyond regional politics. The energy dimension is particularly important because it gives these Gulf states leverage not just over Israel, but over Israel's allies. European nations, despite their political support for Israel, are heavily dependent on Gulf energy exports. Asian economies, including China and India, have massive economic relationships with both Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. This creates a web of economic relationships that could be leveraged in unprecedented ways. Kuwait's approach is more straightforward but potentially more impactful in the long term. By maintaining and reinforcing complete economic and travel isolation of Israel, Kuwait is essentially creating a model that other nations could adopt. Algeria, Bangladesh, Brunei, Iran, Kuwait, Lebanon, Libya, Pakistan, Syria, and Yemen all impose bans on Israeli nationals. The balance of power in the Middle East just shifted dramatically, and Benjamin Netanyahu's worst nightmare has become reality. Turkey has unveiled the Anka-3 stealth bomber, a flying-wing unmanned combat aerial vehicle that defense experts are calling the Turkish B-2. And the implications for Israel are absolutely staggering. While Netanyahu struggles with international isolation and arms embargoes from European allies, Turkey has achieved something that only the United States, China, and Russia have managed before: the development of a fully operational stealth bomber capable of penetrating the most advanced air defense systems on Earth. This isn't just another drone announcement. This is Turkey announcing its arrival as a major military superpower with capabilities that directly threaten Israel's regional military dominance. The Anka-3 represents a quantum leap in military technology that puts Turkey in an exclusive club of nations possessing true stealth bomber capabilities. And isn't just the aircraft itself, it's the timeline and the strategic implications. The Anka-3 successfully completed its first flight on December 28, 2023, less than a year ago. Turkish aerospace industries began development in 2022, meaning they went from concept to operational aircraft in just 2 years. This represents one of the fastest development cycles for a stealth aircraft in aviation history. suggesting that Turkey's military-industrial complex has capabilities that have been seriously underestimated by Israeli intelligence. The flying wing design is particularly significant because it represents the most advanced approach to stealth technology. Only the United States, with the B-2 Spirit bomber and Northrop Grumman's upcoming B-21 Raider, have successfully deployed this configuration. The fact that Turkey has independently developed and deployed a similar design puts them in an exclusive technological club that includes only the world's most advanced military powers. Turkish aerospace industry's CEO Temelko Til has revealed details that make this story even more explosive. ANK-3's operational capabilities create specific challenges for Israeli defense systems. The aircraft's ability to operate beyond line of sight through satellite control means it can conduct missions while being controlled from Turkish territory, reducing the risk to Turkish personnel while maximizing operational flexibility. Its high transit speed and low radar visibility make it extremely difficult to intercept using conventional air defense systems. The weapons systems carried by the ANK-3 are specifically designed to defeat hardened targets and air defense installations. The SOMJ cruise missiles can strike targets at extended ranges, while the aircraft remains outside the effective zone of most surface-to-air missile systems. The Mk-82 bombs and small-diameter bombs provide precision strike capabilities against a wide range of targets, from command centers to communication facilities to strategic infrastructure. What makes this development even more significant is Turkey's demonstrated commitment to expanding and improving the ANK-3 program. The planned supersonic variant represents a next-generation capability that would put Turkey ahead of most NATO allies in stealth aircraft technology. The integration with the Kanka fighter program suggests that Turkey is developing a comprehensive stealth combat system that combines manned and unmanned platforms for maximum effectiveness. The international implications of Turkey's achievement extend far beyond the immediate Israel-Turkey relationship. NATO allies who have been skeptical of Turkey's regional ambitions now face a member nation with military capabilities that rival those of the alliance's most advanced members. The development of indigenous stealth technology also raises questions about technology transfer and export controls that have traditionally limited the proliferation of advanced military systems. For Israel's defense establishment, the ANK-3 represents a wake-up call about the changing regional security environment. Israeli military planners have been focused on threats from Iran, Hamas, and Hezbollah, primarily asymmetric threats using rockets, missiles, and guerrilla tactics. The emergence of a sophisticated stealth bomber capability in Turkish hands represents a completely different category of threat that requires new defensive approaches and strategic thinking. The timing of Turkey's ANK-3 revelation is particularly damaging for Israel because it comes at a moment of unprecedented isolation and strategic vulnerability. While European nations are canceling arms deals with Israel, while international legal proceedings are advancing against Israeli officials, while traditional allies are distancing themselves from Israeli policies, Turkey is demonstrating advanced military capabilities that directly threaten Israeli security. The technical specifications of the ANK-3 also revealed the sophistication of Turkey's military-industrial base. The aircraft incorporates lessons learned from over 200,000 flight hours of previous Turkish drone operations, suggesting that Turkey's unmanned systems program has reached a level of maturity that enables rapid development of advanced platforms. The software integration with previous ANKA and Aksungur platforms demonstrates a systematic approach to capability development that rivals established aerospace powers. The psychological impact of Turkey's achievement may be as significant as the military implications. For years, Israeli leaders have spoken confidently about their country's technological superiority and regional military dominance. The emergence of the ANK-3 demonstrates that other regional powers have been developing capabilities that can challenge Israeli advantages, potentially in secret, and at a pace that surprised even sophisticated intelligence services. The export potential of the ANK-3 creates additional strategic concerns for Israel. Turkey has been aggressively marketing its drone technology to international customers, and the success of Turkish systems in conflicts from Syria to Ukraine to Libya has created significant international demand, If Turkey begins exporting Anka-3 technology, it could proliferate stealth capabilities to countries and organizations that might use them against Israeli interests. The economic implications are equally significant. The development of the Anka-3 represents a major success for Turkey's defense industry, potentially generating billions in export revenue while reducing Turkish dependence on foreign military systems. This economic success strengthens Turkey's position in regional competition while providing resources for further military development. Looking forward, the implications of Turkey
Understand now that how on earth these people can escape the deepest pits of hell. Even at this Arab and Islamic summit, the only country I think, I have started to doubt Iran, that if you did it on the 12 days war, what the hell stopped you to kill this snake? Once you injure him, this is going to come furious and kite you back. And look at that procession. Have pity on those people. He is finally emptying the North Gaza and pushing them to south so that he can push them into the Egyptian desert and they die of starvation and thirst and hunger, and Egypt will be able to do nothing. And if any one of them escaped, then they will push them into Jordan, or if then still they few left, they'll either shoot and kill them from the skies or let them drown into the ocean, this whole coastline in there. And it will be a bloody shame for the whole Arabs and Muslim world, and who have words and no action. Now Iran taunts the Arab summit and says there were only discussions and condemnations. I don't agree with them. I think Iran is playing the double game. Iran must, with the help of his proxies, which is called axis of resistance, get the Hezbollah activated, get the supplies to Hamas, get this to West Bank, and even people in the Syria, in Yemen, Iraq, and I think five of them now with the in my opinion the biggest slap on the face of which has made Netanyahu panic is the Kuwait. And why don't you do like Kuwait? Why don't you summon UAE to summon the Israeli ambassador and throw him out and get your diplomatic relations with them? And Saudi Arab should stop having this dream of normalization with them and stop playing the double game, or the people should rise against them and then get rid of them. That's the only way if Islam has to survive, that they have to show Toba, ayah number 24, fight or wait to go to hell. So I take my hats off to Kuwait. Nobody can enter Kuwait who is either a stamp of Israel went. Not a single drop of oil will go to them. All those countries who will send their oil, not any industrial produce will be bought, not any technological thing will be bought. Now this is the way. I think the model set by the Kuwait is, if Saudi Arab adopts that, if Pakistan adopts that, if Turkey adopts that, if Jordan and Egypt adopts that, UAE adopts that, wherein Morocco adopts that, I can 100% tell you they will come to touch your feet, and they will there, because the Europeans will make them do it, because the oil and energy will completely destroy their industry and economy, and they will not be there. So there will be a famine all across the world. And first, like the oil embargo in 70s, you see that how they came to the knees of there, and then they killed Faisal, and they killed King Faisal and made one of his nephews to hypnotize him and murder him. So don't be afraid, confront them, you will see they will be covered. And it has been prophesied that you will win, provided you have a firm faith in Almighty Allah. And with that, I give you some shots to prove my point. This is, or you look at that poor people being pushed into the southern Gaza, look at the queue of this and have, for God's sake, pity on them. You've seen them starved, you've seen them hungry, you've seen them dying, you've seen them buried under the rubble, and now it's time. If you don't do it, then it'll be just too late.
को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें। उसके बाद बेल बटन पे क्लिक करें और अपने कमेंट्स के सेक्शन में अपने कीमती जो ख्यालात का इजहार ज़रूर